In this Sunday's gospel reading, we hear that beautiful story after the resurrection, the third time Jesus appears to the disciples. And, Peter, leading the charge in his own unique way, says, I'm going fishing. And they spend the whole night fishing, and they come up empty-netted, if you will. And Jesus shows up and says, just try the other side. Just try the other side. They're like, oh, okay, all right, we'll try the other side. Well, the other side of the boat, it brings in such an incredible haul of fish that John recognizes, holy smokes, it's Jesus. So, they all get to shore, and Jesus is there, and he's got a charcoal fire going, and on it he, has the fish and the bread, and, reminiscent of, the multiplication of the loaves and the fishes. And not only that, there's a lot of things it goes back to and really draws together a bunch of different themes. But, you've got the loaves and the fishes that go back to the multiplication, and you've got the charcoal fire. Well, where else have we seen a charcoal fire? Well, in the courtyard of the high priest. Peter was there warming himself on the charcoal fire with the others. And, so you've got these two things almost in tension. You've got, for Peter, the horror of going back to that moment of denying the Lord 3 times, but also from the Lord you have this gesture of welcome, hospitality, reconciliation. And just later on in the passage, we hear Jesus ask Peter those 3 times, almost undoing or undoing the denials or restoring Peter to a place of respect, love, peace, really, in relationship with Jesus. So, those two things are there in tension, but they're also the same beautiful reality. Even in Peter's denial, Jesus' offering of himself, which we see again in the Eucharist, is the thing that makes up and gives the power for Peter to be restored. So, what might have been this moment of horror for Peter to see the charcoal fire and be reminded of his denial of Jesus, becomes this great place of healing and restoration and commissioning. In those 3 questions, and answers, Jesus' response to Peter's answers, he tells Peter, shepherd my sheep. It's not just the simplicity of, okay, tend to them, make sure they're okay. No, he says, shepherd my sheep, and really be the leader among them. And it's not going to be easy. He foretells his death on the cross, but ultimately, the biggest point in this that I want to take away, and I want you to take away, is just, Jesus sometimes brings us back to our charcoal fire, just like he pulled Jesus or Peter back to the charcoal fire. And it doesn't have to be a place of shame. It doesn't have to be a place of humiliation. Jesus, allows, mistakes in our past to come back to our hearts. He allows, difficult moments to show up again because he wants to restore us. He wants to heal us. He wants to show us his love, and he wants us to have the power, even in that transformation, that forgiveness, that healing, to go forth and shepherd those that he has given to us to lead and guide and take care of. So, we need not be afraid of those moments, and we need not have shame because Jesus wants to restore us. So, when we see the outcome, in the Acts of the Apostles, loop back through the first reading, Peter and the disciples are before the Sanhedrin, the same one that condemned Jesus, and the Sanhedrin says, hey, didn't we tell you to stop talking in that name? And they said, hey, we got to obey God, not you guys. Sorry, not sorry. Jesus rose from the dead, the same one you killed on the tree, and we're unapologetic about that. And, in the end, they're grateful to have, experienced, the persecution that they did, because they want to tell the story of God's transforming power in their lives. They haven't just known Jesus risen from the dead, they've known him risen in their hearts, and they can't help but share that truth with the world. So, if Jesus invites you to a charcoal fire, don't be ashamed of it. Don't be afraid of it. Let it be a moment of encounter and transformation for you. And, if you're just wondering, what's my charcoal fire? Don't be afraid to ask Jesus, because he provides for you the loaves and the fishes, that what you offer him in your brokenness might be multiplied and transformed. So, Jesus didn't give me any fish here or bread, but I think me and Jesus are going to have a little bit of meat. Enjoy the week.